Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sheck. Listen, when we're in the chapel, it's a little Hamish. We're a little snug, right? This is a good thing. This is a very good thing. I know some of you will disagree with me, and you can let me know at lunch. Maybe. But I like it, personally. I like to be able to see you. I like to be able to hear you. I think this is a wonderful thing. There's an interesting conversation that's been going on for about a week and a half now, all over my social media, and I'm sure probably all over a lot of people's social media. And it goes a little something like this. First, a meme will appear, and the meme will say something akin to, if you voted against democracy, decency, name a few other very, very large ideas, then go ahead and unfriend me and don't follow me anymore. So that's how the meme comes. And then another meme comes, and that first meme might have a couple of thumbs ups, or maybe a care, a hug, a little love for one another. Then another meme will pop up on the other side of the internet that'll say, we can disagree and still be friends. Then there's some thumbs up, hugs, maybe some hearts. And then another meme will come back and it'll say, we can disagree about ice cream, we can't disagree about these things, and then there's hearts, hugs. So this is a conversation that's taking place. And of course, what's fascinating about the conversation is that it's not a conversation. It's memes popping up online, which has me really sad, because the conversation is really important, right? And I can't change other people's behavior, especially in the non-Jewish world where I see a lot of this going on. There's nothing really I can do about this. I find it to be chaval. I find it to be a shanda. I think it's unfortunate, because in a functioning good world, we'd be able to have those tough conversations with one another, and it wouldn't lead to such digging in our heels, such vitriol, such kind of writing people off right from the get-go. It wouldn't happen. That would be my ideal. But kal v'chomer, all the more so, for Jews, guys, it is built into who we are to argue with one another. That is who we are. The idea that we would put something on the internet and just be like, don't talk to me, is the exact antithesis of who we are. It doesn't make any sense. And hear me very clearly. I'm not saying that we all have to be best friends and that we have to agree with each other and then sing kumbaya. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that built into the foundation of Yiddishkeit, built into the foundation of our very peoplehood, is the idea of having the conversation in the first place. It is who we are. Case in point in our Parashat today. In our Parashat this morning, Avraham Avinu is having a conversation. And in that conversation, he is faced with a statement, and the statement goes out, and Avraham Avinu takes that statement, and he throws it back with such force and such chutzpah. I mean, really, like giving it to him right back. Saying that statement doesn't make any sense. What will they think of you? Look how terrible this makes you look. And the kicker is, he's not talking to his wife, his children, his nephew. He's talking to God. It is so built into who we are that we are supposed to have those conversations with God. With God. And here's the beautiful part of it. Not only is that conversation just like venting and getting something out, God says, you're right. That's the amazing part about Jewish tradition. God says, you brought up some very good points. I'm going to think about that a little bit. Now, of course, that has consequences. Abraham eventually gets it down to 10 people in Sodom and Gomorrah. If there are 10 righteous people that you can find in Sodom and Gomorrah, you'll have to spare them. It's something to be said about Sodom and Gomorrah that even with 10, they don't make the cut. It's not great, not good. But at least Abraham argues to get them down to that number. That's Abraham saying back with passion and enthusiasm, this is who we are. And who you are, God, is not the kind of God that would destroy innocent people in a village. And God says, you're right. You're right. And that is how this whole conversation begins. That is the foundation of who we become. Is that from that moment on, we are people that argue with one another. And we can laugh about that and say like it's kind of a funny thing about who we are, but I think it is really a holy thing about who we are. Because when we choose to be a religion, when we choose to be a people that is not about orthodoxy, right? We are not, to be a good Jew, you do not have to believe in a certain thing. You don't have to say a certain creed. You don't have to believe in certain dogma. You have to engage Jewishly. That's what it means to be a good Jew. Which means that a lot of the things that you think about theologically, spiritually, you can have huge question marks. And you can still be an amazing Jew. But the thing that makes you an amazing Jew is that you interact with other Jews. That's the ikar. That is the essence of it all. And so my hope, my blessing for all of us this morning is that when we look at these meme conversations that are taking place, we can look at them and say, yikes. But then we can also look at them and say, that's a lot of things, but the one thing that it's not is Jewish. It is incredibly un-Jewish. And I want to end my point this morning by us looking at a text together. So if you can take out your Eitz Chaim, and the spoilers for those who were at Timely Torah, you know where we're going. We're going to turn to page 100 in our Eitz Chaim. Actually, do me a favor and turn back one more page. So start with page 99. And you'll read starting on the second pasuk, on the second verse, it says, looking up, he saw 3 men standing near him. As soon as he saw them, he ran from the entrance of the tent to greet them. And bowing to the ground, he said, my lords, if it please you, do not go on past your servant. This line is fascinating because in the Hebrew, the argument is made that the original version, before that vowel got snuck in there with a little bit of a different interpretation, is that in that second verse, when he ran from the entrance of the tent to greet them and bowing to the ground, he said, not my lords, but my Lord. Singular, not plural. My Lord, if it please you, do not go on past your servant. And there's a lot of different interpretations for why it might be in that singular. Who exactly is Avraham Avinu talking to? And Rashi and a few other Rishonim say that he's talking to whoever the leader of these 3 people are. There seems to be a clear leader, so he's talking to that person, my Lord, please come into my house, let me tend to you for a little bit. But Maimonides does something incredible here. And he says, no, the word that you're looking for here is Adonai, God. And Avraham Avinu says, when he sees these 3 men approaching, God, hang back for a little bit. Please don't leave me, but I got something I have to do. I have to go tend to 3 strangers who are walking up to my house. And the theological significance of that is to say that Avraham Avinu became such a righteous person that what merits his righteousness is that he tells even God, hang back, I have people I need to go talk to. There aren't other Jews in the world right now. Abraham is talking to 3 strangers who I guarantee you have very little in common with him, at least according to his perception. 3 strangers from the area. They speak different languages, they have a different religion, they have different ideas of how the world works. And Avraham Avinu says, God, hold back. I got to go meet these people. And he spends the next hours washing their feet, giving them food, giving them a place to stay. Not with any preconceived notions of who these people are, understanding that they probably see the world incredibly differently. But the starting place for it all is Ahavat Yisrael and Ahavat Am. That first we start with love. And those conversations can go a million different ways. And even if they go a million different ways, it's okay. We don't have to like each other all the time. We don't have to be best friends and go bowling after. We don't have to do it. But what we aren't allowed to do is throw out our statements and walk away. It's not who we are. I'm telling you right now, the conversations are not going to be fun sometimes. They're going to be really hard. And they might really pull at some of the most important things that we have to say. But if we are willing to say something like, we're not going to be friends anymore, or if we're willing to say something like, I know that this hurts you, but I still want to be friends, that means there's something real and something powerful and something that is filled with passion and emotion deep within there. Those are the conversations worth having. They're not easy. They're not fun. But those conversations are built into the heart of who we are. Welcome to Judaism. I'm sorry. It's who we are. So let's go forward together, holding each other tight, not always agreeing, not always smiling and loving what we have to say to one another. Let's hold each other nice and tight and remember that all of it starts with people. Shabbat Shalom.